Hi, I'm Nikki, and I've been making this protein shake almost every day for the last 7 years. But it wasn't for the reasons you may think. In all honesty, I wanted another one of these. But when I started eating this shake 7 years ago, I was no spring chicken. So, spoiler alert, even though I didn't end up having another kid, I did continue to eat the shake because I realized that it was ultimately going to make me healthier, happier, and live longer, one very nutritious shake at a time. Okay, so it started out simple enough. Some fruit, maca, protein, almond milk, and some royal jelly. But somehow, this simple list of ingredients began to grow. For example, a friend would be like, "You should take collagen," and I'd be like, "Okay." Or some fitness model would be like, "Greens powder is so dope," and I'd be like, "Sign me up." But now I'm evaluating it 7 years later. What was I really eating? And did I ever really research the efficacy of any of these things? And were these things really that healthy for me? So I decided to really take a look at each of the individual things that I was adding to my shake to see if there was any scientific or even anecdotal evidence of their nutritional value or their efficacy. Today, I am doing a shake audit, and it's gonna be just as sexy as it sounds. Okay, first up, the berries. So I use strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, and blackberries. And collectively, berries have a high amount of a group of antioxidants called polyphenols. And polyphenols are the most abundant antioxidants in our food. They're found in cereal, in dry legumes, in chocolate, in wine, in vegetables. And so for plants, polyphenols protect them against UV and pathogens. And epidemiological studies suggest that if you consume a diet that's high in plant polyphenols for a long period of time, you will have some protection against cancers, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and osteoporosis. And flavonoids, which make up about 60% of polyphenols, can reduce your risk of cognitive decline and dementia by enhancing circulation and protecting your brain cells from damage. Now, these berries are also packed with vitamin C, which is an essential vitamin, meaning we as humans can't synthesize it ourselves, so we need to get it from our food. And vitamin C is really important because it's needed for protein synthesis, for the biosynthesis of certain neurotransmitters, as well as collagen. Next up, acai. So the acai palm tree is native to the tropical areas in Central and South America, and it produces this dark purple fruit. And it's a really important food source for the indigenous people in the Amazon. And acai is very nutrient rich. It's got fiber, it has vitamin A, it's got calcium. But when acai started to become really popular in the United States, it was promoted for its weight loss and anti-aging purposes. But so far, independent studies have yet to be published in peer-reviewed journals to substantiate the use of acai alone in weight loss. So, mostly, laboratory studies have focused on acai's potential as an antioxidant, and the antioxidant source for acai comes in the form of a lot of different plant compounds, including anthocyanins. And anthocyanins give berries like acai their dark purple or red color. Now, we have talked about a number of different antioxidants so far. The polyphenols in the berries, I think I forgot to mention that vitamin C is a really strong antioxidant, and then anthocyanins. And so I just wanted to make sure that we were all kind of on the same page about what antioxidants were and why they're so good for our body. So the term antioxidant is just sort of a general term for any compound that can neutralize free radicals. And so what is a free radical? Free radicals are molecules that lack their full complement of electrons. And so they go around trying to steal the electron of other compounds or molecules, thereby damaging these molecules. And so some of the molecules that free radicals can damage are lipids and fats. And lipids and fats are really important because they form the cell membrane of our cells. Free radicals can also damage proteins, and proteins are really important because proteins can catalyze lots of different biochemical reactions in our body. They also form scaffolding in our body, and they also are responsible for like cell-to-cell signaling, among lots of other things. And then, free radicals can also damage DNA. And when you have damaged DNA, you have damaged or mutated proteins as a result. And so, you either have a protein that does too much of what it used to do or too little of what it used to do. And so now you have to worry about things like cancer. So damage caused by free radicals result in a lot of diseases over time. Things like, cancer and Alzheimer's disease and diabetes and, celiac disease, things like that. And so free radicals are just these naturally occurring byproducts of different biochemical processes in our body in response to things in our environment, like, UV or pollution or tobacco smoke. And then even things that we take into our body, like diets high in fat and sugars, alcohol, and even things like exercise can cause the production of free radicals. But they are also a natural byproduct of normal cell processes. For example, free radicals get made by our immune system to fight things like bacteria and viruses. So how does an antioxidant stabilize a free radical? So what it does is it donates an electron to this free radical without making itself unstable. And so it stabilizes the free radical and prevents it from damaging other molecules. When you have an imbalance between your antioxidants and your free radicals, you have what's called oxidative stress. And oxidative stress is not good because it leads to things like aging and chronic disease. So going back to our berries have tons of antioxidants. And the more color, the better. Next up, bananas. Now I know these are pretty ugly, but they're actually perfect for me because I just end up cutting them up and throwing them in the freezer for my shake. So we all know that bananas have a lot of potassium, but what is potassium and why is it good for us? Well, potassium is a mineral, and so minerals are basically just inorganic solids that have a very specific atomic arrangement, and so that's why minerals can grow into crystals. Potassium is also an electrolyte that carries a small electrical charge. These charges in potassium cause nerve cells to send signals for the heart to beat regularly and for muscles to contract. So within our muscle cells, potassium helps relay signals from the brain that helps stimulate contractions. It also helps end these contractions by moving out of muscle cells. Potassium is also needed to maintain the right balance of water in cells, and it also helps to balance excess sodium. If you have too little potassium and too much sodium, it can lead to high blood pressure, which leads to damaged blood vessels. So it's really, really important that you take in enough potassium to balance out the sodium. Chia seeds. So chia seeds are a complete protein, and so while it's not a lot, it's only 4.7 grams per ounce, chia seeds contain all 9 essential amino acids. Chia seeds are also really high in dietary fiber, and so mostly in the form of soluble fiber and mucilage, that sort of gluey kind of texture that you find when you have moistened chia seeds. So soluble fiber can lower blood glucose levels, which then decreases your chances of getting type 2 diabetes, as well as lower blood cholesterol. Chia seeds are also the richest source of omega-3 fatty acids. A fatty acid is just a hydrocarbon chain, so it has carbons and hydrogens. And the different number of carbons and hydrogens gives the fatty acid different properties. And so one end of the fatty acid is called the alpha end, and the other end is called the omega end. And so omega-3 fatty acids are so named because there is a double bond between the third and fourth carbon from the omega end. So there's a double bond starting at carbon 3. So it's omega-3 fatty acid because and on the alpha end there is an acid. So the main omega-3 fatty acid found in plants is called alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA. There is also DHA and EPA found in fish. In animal and human studies, omega-3 fatty acids have been shown to lower cholesterol, regulate heart rhythms and blood pressure, decrease inflammation, and prevent blood clots. So, just a disclaimer for pretty much everything that I'm talking about today. Make sure that you consult a physician anytime you start taking anything new. So, for example, if you have a bleeding condition or if you're on medications that cause you to bleed more, make sure to consult your doctor before taking omega-3 supplements because DHA and EPA can make bleeding more likely. By the way, omega-3 fatty acids are essential, which means that we can't produce it ourselves. So it's very, very important that we make sure that we have a diet that has lots of food sources that contain omega-3 fatty acids. So flax seeds are pretty similar to chia seeds. They've got a lot of omega-3 fatty acids, they've got some plant proteins, and they are very high in fiber, as their packaging would indicate. Fiber is really good for you because fiber can flush out harmful carcinogens and cholesterol from your body. But just be careful with consuming flax seeds because it can make you a little bit constipated if you don't have enough water. So just make sure to drink enough water when you are consuming flax seeds. Maca. So maca is an Andean root grown in Peru at higher elevations, and it has been a food source for the indigenous people there for thousands of years. And there's a lot of sort of anecdotal buzz, if you will, about maca's ability to enhance sex drive and libido, and I guess sex drive is the same thing as libido, but also its ability to enhance energy and mental clarity. But there have been no major human studies to sort of report how it actually works. But in general, it's thought to have adaptogenic properties, which means that it sort of helps you maintain a level state of homeostasis, or like a level state of energy. So instead of your energy sort of like going up like this when you're stressed out or having to deal with something, and then like crashing back down once you're exhausted, and then sort of coming back up when you're trying to recover, adaptogens allow you to sort of maintain a very steady level of energy. Adaptogens exhibit neuroprotective, antidepressive, anti-fatigue sorts of properties. How they do this, we don't know. So for me, maca was the reason why I started to have a protein shake in the first place. I started taking it 7 years ago because I wanted another baby. And my sister's friend, who was a nurse, my sister's also a nurse, recommended that I start taking maca for sort of fertility reasons. And so, just to give you a little TMI right now, after I got off of birth control, my periods were very irregular. And so once I started to take maca, it was like clockwork. I mean, like clockwork. It was insane. And so for me, anecdotally, it worked. I felt like, my energy level was pretty consistent. I continue to use it, even though there aren't a whole lot of studies sort of substantiating its use. So take it with a grain of salt. So I have many more things to go through, but I won't do it in this video. I will do it in the next one because I don't want this video to be obscenely long. So as always, thank you so much for watching. I really, really hope you learned something in this video, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks, bye. Antioxidant, polyphenol. That's the cat. Flavonoids, which make up about Tom, stop. Okay. That stimulate contractions. Stimulate contractions. Come on, brain. Fiber, fiber, fiber. Okay. Hello, hello, testing. Okay. Got paranoid about my sound there for a second. Flax seeds. Flax seeds. Flax seeds. Stimulate contractions.